And we're now approaching week 3 of the CFL season as we do a panel on the CFL going into this weekend here. I'm Adel, Ahmed, Jace, Maki alongside with me.
It's great to be here.
Great to have you on. Thanks again.
Yeah, for sure.
First thing, we're just going to talk a little bit about the Riders and Alouettes game that took place.
Yes.
The Riders, it was a one-sided affair to say the least there. The Alouettes were just running off the gates there with the kickoff return at the start of that game. Just tell me a little bit about what went wrong there for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
For sure. Definitely a tough game for Rider Nation coming to this game. They're 2-0 to start the season, and they were favored to win this game as well. So they're coming in, Rider Nation's thinking, we're going to win this game. Obviously didn't go the way that was planned, but I think this is a one-off kind of situation here. Saskatchewan is still a good team. They were coming off of a shorter week, playing 2 road games. So they played a game in Edmonton on Saturday, and now they're all the way in Montreal playing. So I think that could also be a factor. Their center was injured in the game against Edmonton, and we saw that Cody Fajardo in this game was under attack quite immensely from the defense. 8 total sacks against Saskatchewan quarterbacks in this game. So little stuff there. Also, Shaq Evans, who's a great receiver for the Riders, got injured in the first half. So a lot of little excuses you can bring up. But like you mentioned with Montreal, is they had a good game as well.
Well, yeah, certainly they did have a good game. We seen a new quarterback that was started in place for them. Vernon Adams Jr. wasn't in, obviously. Trevor Harris, former Elk there, was starting for the Alouettes. Just what did you like about his game overall?
I think Trevor Harris played fairly well. I think it's an interesting story to look at, like the QB battle in Montreal, where Vernon Adams Jr. has been kind of the guy, but he's had some injuries, and so he hasn't been able to always start the games. He was traded to Montreal from Edmonton, and Vernon Adams was still the guy until he got injured. Trevor Harris played in the playoffs. We know all that kind of stuff. And Vernon Adams was the starter to start the year, got COVID. Trevor Harris is coming in. He played well. He's got 1 touchdown, didn't throw an interception, was able to spread the ball around to a lot of different receivers. And it looks like that he may be the guy to carry that QB1 job forward for Montreal. Just want to highlight, like you mentioned again, Chandler Worthy had that kickoff return for a touchdown. I think that was a great way to fire up the hometown crowd for the home opener in Montreal. So a great game for the Owls there.
Certainly. Well, it was a good way to start off the game for the Owls there, and obviously Trevor Harris just starting off there on the right foot with a new team is a good thing to see. Now we're going to switch gears. We're going to head over a little bit to the west end here. We got the Elks and the Stampeders that are going to be facing off this weekend.
Alberta.
Yeah, Battle of Alberta. Just let's talk a little bit about Calgary first. They had a miraculous game in their last outing against the Ticats. They were down 24 points. Just tell me a little bit about what are you expecting out of the Stampeders coming into this weekend?
The Stampeders are always a great team. I think the past 2 seasons, a lot of people have been kind of doubting the Stampeders and doubting Bo Levi Mitchell and thinking, maybe they're past their prime. But I think if you look at the roster, there's been a lot of changes, but they brought in a lot of young guys. But I think Calgary is one of those teams that no matter what season you look at them, they're always going to be a competitive team and they're always going to do well. Going into this game, Bo Levi Mitchell was limited in practice all week, but he's listed as a game time decision. I think he'll play in the game. I feel like it might be a little bit of kind of trickery there to kind of sow some doubts. But even if he doesn't end up playing, their backup, Jake Mayer, has played well as well, and he's kind of, I think, the future of that franchise. So it's going to be a tough game for Edmonton going against a good Calgary team. Certainly
will be, as the Stampeders are undefeated up to this point so far now. Just going over to the Elks side now, their team, they're constantly making adjustments, on the fly throughout the week. Just what are you expecting from the Edmonton Elks coming into this matchup?
Like you said, they're always making adjustments. So this week they released kind of, I would say, star or well-known receiver Shai Ross, who's someone who had some viral moments in the offseason with doing a backflip, dunking an Oreo. So that was a player that I think some fans liked. He left. He signed in BC the next day. So Chris Jones is making those tweaks. I think we're going to see a little bit of some more adjustments made, some progress. I think the big thing for Edmonton is they want quarterback Nick Arbuckle to secure that ball, lower down on those interceptions, and then get the ball in the end zone, because in the past few games he's only had 1 touchdown. You got to have more than that, and I think his defense, Chris Jones' defense, is going to tighten up. We saw they definitely tightened up from that BC game into their last game against Saskatchewan, but they have a tough competition. One thing I will say, though, is last year, the 2021 Elks definitely not a great team. They did win on Labor Day against Calgary, so anything can happen. You know, there's a reason why they play the games.
Certainly. Well, just one more thing before we wrap this up here. Just your prediction for the game this weekend. Who do you think comes out on top?
I'm going to say Calgary by 7.
By 7.
Yeah,
all right.
It'll be a close one.
All right, you heard it here from Jace Maki. That's a wrap for our CFL panel. Thank you again for tuning in. I'm Adel once again. Jace Maki. Thank you guys for watching.